Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today I'm going to be reviewing and discussing, giving you my opinion on this product from MAC. This is the Eyebrows Micro Pencil. This came in my September BoxyCharm subscription, and I've had some time to use this and formulate some thoughts. What I thought we would do today is talk a little bit about MAC Cosmetics, because I don't actually believe that I've reviewed anything from MAC on my channel before. I'm then going to talk a little bit about this product in particular, and then I'm going to do a comparison in applying this, because I actually don't have any brow product on right now, between the MAC Micro Pencil and this Brow Precise Maybelline pencil. Because when I received this, I thought they seemed similar, so let's do a bit of a comparison. I am going to put timestamps for all of this down below so that you can skip ahead to whatever part is of interest to you. And let's start talking a little bit about MAC. Now, even though I haven't reviewed a MAC product on my channel before, I actually have talked about MAC. I think where I talked about them the most was in my anti-haul video, because there was a set of palettes that I really didn't like the way they were being marketed. I will link that review, or that anti-haul I should say, down below so you can go watch that. But I have this, what I feel is like a personal relationship with MAC, and I feel like things have gone astray a little bit lately. So let me tell you a little bit about their history just before we get started. So this is not my opinion, this is actually about them. So MAC's core values are around artistry, individuality, community, trend setting, and social responsibility. And when you look through the history of MAC, you really see that. They were some of the first people to have men and women selling cosmetics as makeup artists. They were always sort of the most outrageous kind of looks that they had. They were all about colors. When you went into a MAC counter, you always saw people with really sort of like bold looks. And they also have a history of giving back to the community. I'll get into that a little bit as well. So they were started by a photographer and a makeup artist, or a makeup artist and a hairstylist, both named Frank, in Toronto. And this is part of my personal feelings about this, is I was also born in Toronto. So when I see products that are homegrown, especially a company as successful as this, it always gives me sort of a warm and fuzzy feeling. They originally made it out of their home, and they were looking for products that photographed well, because they were having trouble finding things that did. And they sold it to other makeup artists, to other photographers at first, and then in 1984, they started a makeup counter within a department store. Now, I remember going to these makeup counters, not in 1984, I'm not that old, but it was always, before you had Sephora, back when I was a teenager, it was like you would go to a department store because that's where the high-end makeup was, outside of the drugstore. And as I was a teenager, there were MAC stores, like individual MAC stores, but when you went into like the Hudson Bay Company or Sears, you know, you had your Estee Lauder, Dior, Clinique, and those were all, and they actually say this here, like they start out in skincare in a lot of cases, and they also did makeup. MAC was the only one that didn't feel like it was marketing to my mom, and it was really all about the makeup. And when I was growing up as a teenager, MAC was like the makeup to have. And they even talk about how it was like sleek. They had a chic utility look to it, because it was just like black packaging. It was all sort of common, and it looked like a makeup studio when you went into MAC stores. So they talked about coming up as a company, and their first majorly known product was a bold red lipstick, and Madonna actually wore this product, which gave them a lot of visibility. They always had sort of a drag and theater and sleek feel going on in their stores and with their brand. And the other thing that I always think of from when I was a teenager is I had some friends who were involved in like theater, TV, that sort of thing, and if you had a headshots and a resume that showed that you were an actor or did theater, you got a great discount on MAC products, because their core was that they started being made for theater, for photography, for film. So they kept that up through the brand. I'm not sure if they still do that today. When the AIDS crisis happened, they started their MAC AIDS Fund through their Viva Glam collection, and I remember a lot of the Viva Glam ads, and they've actually raised over $450 million to give towards AIDS research and AIDS charities through this fund. Where some people have an issue with MAC now is that they are now part of the Estee Lauder brand. And whereas they used to be completely cruelty-free. And if you look on their website, they're still saying that they don't test on animals, but they do sell in China, and China tests makeup on animals before they will allow it to be sold. So although they claim they're not tested on animals, some of their products are, because they made the decision to be sold in China. So a lot of cruelty-free makeup brands won't be sold in China so that they have none of their products being tested on animals. So a lot of people see this, rightly so, as no longer being cruelty-free and kind of straying away from the roots of what made MAC what it was. Another thing I find, and this is just my own feeling, is they sort of, and I get why they did this. It used to be that MAC was the only cosmetics company that was like that cool sort of like towards young adults, teenagers kind of brand that wasn't in the drugstore. Now there's Sephora and there's all of the brands that are in there. So I feel like MAC has moved away a little bit from like its core sleek kind of look to try to bring in more younger customers. And I see this a lot in their collaborations and collections. It feels like they've moved away from that really sleek utility look that they used to have, and they're trying to please more people. So I don't feel that pull towards MAC that I used to, and I feel bad about that because I really do feel like I have a connection to the brand. With the brand stuff talked about, let's move into talking about this product. I originally thought that this was called Spiked Eyebrows when I received it in my box. It's actually just called Eyebrows. The spiked part is the color of this, and they do have 10 colors of this brow product, which is a lot of range. And MAC is pretty good at having a good range of products for all different, in this case, brow colors and brow types. So this product is described as a self-propelling, self-sharpening pencil. You do twist this up to get more product out. It claims that it's going to shape, color, and provide density to your brows. If you buy this in Canada, it's going to be $21. If you buy it in the US, it's going to be $18. And $21 is not bad for a higher end, you know, sort of mid Sephora range product in Canada. That is really actually all they say about this. So I'm going to get you zoomed in and show you this on one brow and my Maybelline Brow Precise on the other, because I do find these products are quite similar. I will say that I'm one of those people where I have very full brows. Usually I will go and get my brows waxed every once in a while. And usually they're waxed, they look great, I don't think about them for a while, and then all of a sudden I look at my brows and it's like, oh crap, they've just gone haywire. So I'm in one of those haywire moments right now. So what I try to do is pluck out the worst offenders in between, and then probably like a week or two from now I'll just be going nuts and I'll go in and get them waxed again. But this is a good chance to see what it looks like when I'm doing this on not perfectly, you know, waxed brows, where I'm trying to define a bit more of a shape so that it's less noticeable how crazy my brows are. So in comparing these products, just before we get into putting them on my brows, there are two things that you'll notice. This actually costs $12 in Canada as opposed to $21. So this is a little bit more than half the price. You do get a spoolie on here, whereas you do not get a spoolie on the MAC product. However, the Maybelline product, you get 0.002 ounces, and the MAC product you get 0.003 ounces. So you actually get a third more product in here. So even though this is almost twice the price, you do get a third more product. So it's fairly comparable, except you don't get the spoolie. So these are the trade-offs that you're looking at between these two products in particular. Zooming you in now. So I'm gonna start with the Maybelline side, just to sort of set that as the baseline. I'm just gonna get in here with the spoolie first. Basically, I try to fluff my brows up a little bit, and I don't always do my brows because I do have a lot of brow. So I can just go out like, well, not like that, and be totally fine with it. So let's get these combed up, and then I try to do up and sort of down there. And then what I'm gonna try to do is fill in to give a little bit more definition along the lower line, fill in a couple of gaps, and just make everything come together as a little family a bit more. What I do find about this is it feels a little flimsy, the Maybelline product. I try to fill in the gaps a little bit and just make All my brow hairs come together as a happy little family. And this is a little bit reddish colored for me. And to me right now, that's looking really harsh as compared to this one. But then I tend to comb it out again with a spoolie to soften up that leading edge. And get everything into place. So that is my very bold filled in brow with the Maybelline Brow Precise. So I'm going to use the same spoolie on the MAC side because we don't get a spoolie, to fluff these up and get them where I want them. And let's start going with the MAC side. I don't feel like I have to soften up the leading edge on this side as well. I feel like it's actually a better color match, but there we go. So those are the two sides done, and let me share my feelings and what I notice. Now, I really want to say, and I mean, looking at it right now, it's not super noticeable between the two. I really want to say that the Maybelline is just as good to save us all some money, but there is just something better about the MAC one. And here's what I'll tell you that I've noticed, is it feels like the MAC is a little bit more stiffer. And it is a better color match, but that is not necessarily the issue of the product, although I will say that because MAC has a greater shade range, you are much likely to find a product that better matches your brows than the Maybelline, which only has a few shades. Because it feels a little bit stiffer, it doesn't feel like it's so blocky at the beginning there. And it really does feel like you could do individual brow hairs a little bit better. So especially if you had sparser brows than I do that you want it to make look quite natural, I feel like you could do that better with the MAC one. It just really felt like it was melting in with my brows and not looking like there were pencil marks, like it sometimes looks, especially near the leading edge of my brow on the Maybelline side. It just sort of seems to do what I want it to do, and it does seem to fill it in a little bit more naturally looking and effortlessly than I get on the Maybelline side. So it's really going to be a decision for you. If you have a spoolie already, because it's a little frustrating it doesn't come with a spoolie, but you can get a spoolie quite easily and cheaply. If you have a spoolie already and you have a harder time matching your brow shade and you maybe need to fill in a little bit more and you want to look more precise, I would spend the money and go for the MAC. So in Canada, the MAC one is $21, and you get 3 times the amount of product. So basically every 0.001 ounce of product is like $7, because 7 times 3 is 21. On the other side, the Maybelline is basically $12, but you only get 0.002 ounces. So it's like every 0.001 ounce is $6. So if you look at it per ounce, the MAC is only $1 more per 0.001 ounce. So I would go for the MAC product. Now, I'm not saying this is better than anything else that's out there, but if you're going between these two and you have the money, I think the MAC one is a better product. It's going to be the one that I reach for from now on. So I'm curious to hear what you think. What brow products do you use? Because I tend to do this, but I'm not using a gel or anything, so my brows tend to move around. I really need to do a little bit more with my brows because I feel like I can do more with them. So let me know what your brow routine is. Let me know down below in the comments. I do respond to every comment that I get. If you liked this kind of video where I compare it to another product instead of just reviewing it on its own, then give it a thumbs up. That would really help me out. Let me know you like these kind of comparison videos. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe. Let's spend some time together. You can click on my face. I will make it appear right here. I do product review videos about 3 times per week. I try to do them Monday, Wednesday, Friday as much as possible. And if you want to watch one of my other review videos, I will put it here and you can click on it and watch one of those, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.